This phone originally cost this much, but I got it for this much.
Huh?
Look, a few years ago, phones used to cost a normal amount. Then one day, bada bing bada boom, they suddenly got super expensive. Like, why is OnePlus barely any cheaper than a Samsung? I have no idea. So naturally, I started looking for ways not to pay that much. And one of those ways is importing. Now, this is a big decision. If something is too good to be true, I probably end up falling for it. So when I saw that this website sells this phone for almost 40% cheaper than the original website, I knew something was off. So I bought it anyway. What's the worst that can happen? As you can see, there's so many cheap Chinese phones here, like Honor Win, 550, Xiaomi 17 Ultra, 1043. That is so expensive. But today, I want to try buying the OnePlus 15. So the fact that it has a global ROM, I assume it's a good thing because I don't want it to be in Chinese. And what's interesting is that the jump between the RAM is only £32. To get 500 gigs of storage, it only costs 30. Typically, if you want to bump up the specs, it costs quite a lot. As you can see, it's so expensive that you can't even do it. Or I guess they just force you to have the more expensive option. Is this really unavailable, or do you just want me to spend more? I'm gonna pick the cheapest option because I'm here to save money. Every phone that I've ever owned was black, and I don't discriminate, so I'm gonna pick sand. Payment methods. Please select the payment method, Visa or bank transfer. Discount. Actually, it says it up here. Enjoy 4.5% discount by using bank transfer. Chinese version, unsealed and flashed with global ROM. So I'm a bit confused. Is this the Chinese version or the global version? Am I gonna get Chinese writing? Region locked, erased. Oxygen OS, no eSIM. So I think that's one of the problems with importing phones, is the fact that you don't get eSIM support. Okay, let's try a bank transfer. Did the price just go up again? What is this? Bitcoin? Eh? The total is different again? Shipping method smooth, 6 to 8 working days, £13. Express, 25. That is so expensive. I'm clicking that one. I have no idea how to do this local bank transfer, but to save money, I'll do anything. And that is the total, 773, which is 566, which is a lot cheaper than 979 that I would have paid otherwise. Which doesn't even make sense because on the official OnePlus website, it's 899, which converted to pounds is 658. So I think the real scam here is just being in the UK. So if you want to change countries like I do, let me introduce you to our sponsor, Surfshark VPN. So the other day I was trying to watch this show on Netflix and I couldn't because I'm in the UK. I tried downloading a sketchy VPN, but it didn't even connect. But with Surfshark VPN, bada bing bada boom, now I'm in Canada and the show works again. It has over 4,500 servers in 140 locations. So you just pick one and you teleport there. Also, do you ever get these sus emails that keep asking you to verify your account? That's why there's now an email scam checker, which uses AI to detect certain phrases and wording and scans the URLs and the sender's email address, because nowadays it's very easy to mimic certain businesses. If it feels a little dodgy using public Wi-Fi, it hides your IP and keeps you safe by encrypting your online data. Basically, it makes the internet less sketchy, especially with all that sus content that you search online. And you can slap it on any device that you own, because with one account, you can use it on unlimited devices. So if you don't want to risk your accounts getting hacked, you can go to surfshark.com/snowball or use the code snowball at checkout to get extra 4 months of Surfshark VPN. And if you don't like it, there's a 30-day money back guarantee, so it takes like 2 seconds, so you might as well go and try it. After placing the order, I did a bank transfer and sent them a screenshot, which felt extremely sketchy because what if they just leave me on red? That would be pretty awkward. They replied to my screenshot and the next day, the order was confirmed. At this point, I was like, okay, my phone is in Hong Kong. It's gonna take like 5 business years for it to arrive, so let me just relax a little bit. 5 hours later, the phone somehow teleported to England. And then, I'm not even joking, the next day, and I'm already slightly worried because look what I can see. Okay, so we get an unsealed box, which has been touched. What the hell is this? I mean, this is some kind of a Temu 50-cent travel adapter. Ooh, there's some Chinese writing on the box. What does that say? And you get a case as well? I didn't know this phone comes with a case. So this is a 120 watt charger that you get in a box. However, this is the wrong plug. I'm in the UK, which is why they sent me this adapter, which honestly, I don't know if I want to use this. I guess if I want fast charging, I don't really have a choice. And then the type A to USB-C. Why is the charger type A and not C to C? So this has been tampered with, which I can only assume is to install the English ROM. Wait, let's try this. According to a lot of videos, I should be able to do this. I actually scratched. Oh my god. I actually scratched the phone. Unbelievable. Why did I just do that? I should have left this to Jerry. Something really smells. It smells like a shoebox. I don't really know what to expect. Do I expect a bunch of Chinese writing, a bunch of bloatware? Or do I just get a completely normal phone and I just saved like £300? Is there anything wrong with this phone? As it turns out, there was actually nothing wrong with the phone. And I recorded this whole segment testing out the phone for no reason. Because if you look back at the original listing, it clearly says Chinese version global ROM. And that means that the actual software is exactly the same. And this idiot was looking for Chinese text and some kind of bloatware. This idiot is me. And now I don't really know what to do, so I might as well do like a little review or something. First downside is that it doesn't have any eSIM support, and I don't really care about it. I found this Reddit post and apparently it's missing some frequency bands, but then I'm literally getting like 300 megabits in my bed on 5G, so this doesn't really affect me. And technically I get no warranty on this phone because if something were to happen, I'd have to ship it back to China, but then I'm planning on this phone not breaking, so I think I'm good. Yes, I have to use this silly little travel adapter, and I don't even know why I'm so surprised, but you get the full 120 watt charging, and you know what? At this point, I'm not even gonna complain. The other NPC phones, like the Pixels and the iPhones, they still charge at like 30 watts, which at this point, how can you even call it fast charging? Fast compared to what? And the battery on this thing? Let's just say you can remove the battery percentage from the status bar, because at this point, that's just a useless metric. And if you ever feel useless, just remember that this phone has a battery saving mode. Having a shortcut up here is actually a waste of space. I can now scroll for 2 days straight. Thanks OnePlus. Recently Marquez made a video about the downfall of OnePlus, and in the next video he spoke about the problems of these new batteries, and in the original thumbnail he had a OnePlus 15 catching on fire. Like, what is the hate on OnePlus? Come on bro. Obviously I panicked a little bit having just bought the phone, but luckily the video got quite a bit of hate. That thumbnail is wild and misleading. Edit. They changed the thumbnail. That thumbnail deserves a lawsuit. Edit. He changed it. Okay, now I'm back to being validated about my purchase. Obviously, I can't go into the future and predict that this phone isn't gonna blow up, and I really don't think it will, but having that in mind, with no warranty, it's something to think about. I almost switched to this phone. On paper, it's basically perfect. The fastest processor, 165 Hz, a huge battery, 120 watt charging. What else do you need? And not enough people mention this, but the material on this phone is so good. It has like a micro arc oxidized something. And if you ever feel like the bottom of a plate, the roughness is how this phone kind of feels. And usually I wear protection, but on this phone, it feels so good that I actually want to raw dog it. However, the cameras on this phone are kind of ass. And I'm not even copying everyone else that's saying like, oh, but they downgraded the sensors. It's not even about the hardware, it's about the software. The normal camera is okay, but when you zoom in, what in the Mickey Mouse is this processing? Or if you record a long video, that video is then broken on Premiere Pro. Unless I disable this high efficiency video, but then I can't use log. Also, I can only disable the stabilization in Pro mode, but in Pro mode, the video is broken on Premiere regardless of what format I use. So I just gave up on the cameras. But if a camera is your thing and you really need a good one, there are plenty of other phones on here. It just doesn't have any iPhones or Samsungs, so if you're willing to deal with the problems that I did, it's such a good way to save some money. But if you get a Chinese ROM, that is a whole new set of problems which I could cover in another video.